plebes unum presentas elecciones presidenciales en la historia mexicana. The 15th official Mexican presidential election took place on July 6, 1988. Madrid was different than previous presidents because he was explicitly a market-oriented person in his economics, and had taken a very sharp neoliberal turn in his policies, privatizing state-run industries and entering the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, which led to inflation to reach 159% by 1987. He also had to deal with disasters like a series of explosions in petroleum tank farms and an 8.0 magnitude earthquake in Mexico City. The earthquake in particular was heavily criticized due to his terrible response. First, he didn't want to send soldiers there to help in the rescue efforts, while telling the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to deny aid from other countries. Then, he sent troops there only to help prevent looting and not rescue people in need. Then, to add salt to the wound, had soldiers help factory owners recover machinery from their factories rather than removing the bodies of the dead factory workers. Yeah, unsurprisingly, when Mexico hosted the 1986 FIFA Cup, he was booed by his own country.
Así como a los espectadores de todos los países, México envía por su conducto a todos los pueblos de la tierra.
This, and the raising of proportional seats from 100 to 200, led to a rise in political opposition from the right and the left, as evident by the PRI only retaining 292 seats in the Chamber of Deputies. With all that out of the way, let's move on to the election itself. We'll start with the right-wing opposition. First, the Mexican Democratic Party had nominated party member Gumersindo Magaña to be their candidate, but the right-wing opposition was mostly dominated by the PAN, who got very popular in the northeastern part of Mexico thanks to Madrid and the PRI's undemocratic tendencies, because all the PAN had to do was emphasize their pro-democracy stances. Their rise in party membership had led to their candidate having a more broader appeal than previous candidates. They nominated businessman Manuel Cloutier to be their nominee. And now comes the PRI's nomination process. You see, while Madrid was on his way to picking his successor, the PRI was having marital problems. You see, the left wing of the PRI, called the Democratic Current, was attempting to reform the PRI to have conventions to choose their nominee, rather than the traditional dedazo method that they are used to. The two leaders on this front were Echeverria cabinet member Porfirio Muñoz Ledo and Governor of Michoacán, Cuauhtémoc Cárdenas, as in the son of Lázaro Cárdenas. However, Madrid and the PRI did not care and went ahead and nominated Secretary of Programming and Budget Carlos Salinas de Gortari to be their nominee, and flat out kicked out all of the members of the Democratic Current out of the PRI, with Madrid even saying, "As far as I'm concerned, let them go, let them form another party." Now, it was technically too late to form a new political party. That didn't stop Cárdenas from forming a coalition of political parties to mount a campaign against the PRI. First, the PARM nominated Cárdenas to be their candidate, followed by the Party of the Cardenist Front of National Reconstruction, a rebranded Socialist Workers' Party, the newly formed Socialist Mexican Party, the Popular Socialist Party, and a couple of smaller left-wing political parties joined together to form the National Democratic Front as a viable left-wing alternative to the PRI. The only other major leftist party to not join the coalition was the Revolutionary Workers' Party, which again ran Rosario Ibarra to be their nominee. Now, two decently popular opposition candidates was a scary notion for the PRI, so they had to curb them as much as they can. Cloutier especially had a hard time with interviews on government-controlled news networks, so he ended up boycotting them and holding silent protests with tape over his mouth. And at one point during the campaign, Cárdenas was able to fill the Plaza del Zócalo with supporters. This election was also notable for being the first to have their election results counted electronically, and Sorry, it looks like there was like a glitch in my video or something. Much like on election day. You see, while the results were being counted, Cárdenas was in the lead among the candidates. But all of a sudden, the electronic voting system crashed, And when the system went back online, the results showed Gortari with 50.36% of the popular vote, Cardenas with 31.12% of the popular vote, Cloutier with 17.07% of the popular vote, Magana with 1.04% of the popular vote, and Ibarra with 0.42% of the popular vote. And in the Chamber of Duties, 260 seats went to the PRI, 139 went to the National Democratic Front, and 101 went to the National Action Party. Cardenas, Cloutier, and Ibarra decried this and signed a document saying that they would not accept the election results. A PAN official also apparently got the original file with the real results and got evicted from his position in the Federal Elections Commission. Cloutier and the PAN followed up with a 20,000 person protest and asked their supporters to initiate a 177-hour hunger strike. In fact, many modern Mexican historians stated that if Cardenas gave the order, he could have set Mexico up in flames, but like his father, he was not a man of violence. So inevitably, the people moved on. Though many people state that it wasn't the system that truly crashed, it was Mexico's political system, and the term "se cayó el sistema" has become a political term in Mexico that means pretty much just rigging an election. But the question you may be wondering is, was all of this justified? Well, if you aren't convinced yet, let me give you 3 events that happened afterwards that may sway you to see where Cardenas was coming from. First, in 1991, the PRI and the PAN passed a resolution in the Chamber of Duties to burn the ballots used in the 1988 elections, effectively destroying the only thing that could prove or disprove the accusations. In 2019, the American Political Science Review found evidence of blatant alterations in about 1/3 of the tallies done in the election, and in a 2004 interview and autobiography, De la Madrid blatantly admitted that he rigged the election. So yeah, now that we have proof the PRI isn't in a safe position as we thought, let's see how the opposition handles that in the next election. Te veré para las próximas elecciones, amigo. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified when a future video of mine comes out. And if you're interested in more content from me, you can go to my website or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Quora, or check out my articles on the Independent Political Report.